This podcast is brought to you by the Foundation for World Harmony and by Valena.
Come with me to discover the transformative power of kindness and the joy it brings. Join me as we explore every Monday morning simple yet profound ways to elevate your happiness, one gesture at a time.
Wow, fantastic, baby. Dance. I'm gonna dance. Fantastic, baby.
Welcome to another episode of The Complete Guide to Happiness. Hope to put some smiles on your face. Got a fantastic interview from a woman from Mumbai, India. She's one of our newest ambassadors of kindness. Incredible story of survival, basically. I mean, wait till you hear the ringer she's been through with a couple husbands. There's a lot of deadbeat guys out there, and this is one true story of how she survived it. I mean, mental and physical abuse. Boy, she's a survivor. She's a great person. She's doing a lot for mankind now. She's our director in California. I'm so happy to know her and have her part of the team. She gets it completely, as are many people recently. So I hope you had a happy week. I hope this show will put some smiles on your face. Today's quote was from Helen Keller, and she said, "Alone we can do so little. Together we can do so much." And to my quote, to my addition to a quote, what am I saying? I put a quote along with the other quotes, and I said, "Join the kindness revolution. Together we can make the world a better place, and we need to make the world a better place." It's the insanity of humanity. You've heard me say it 100 times, and there's so much proof. But we don't talk negativity on this show because this show is supposed to make you happy. And thinking about the horrible things mankind has done I wouldn't think would make anybody happy. But what makes me happy is that people are getting the kindness revolution. And with shows like this and with all the kindness initiatives we have on worldkindnesslist.com, we're making a big difference. We are making a big difference, and I'm glad you're part of it. If you're not part of it, join the kindness revolution at worldkindnesslist.com. It's a long interview. I hope you can get through it. It's really worth watching, especially for the ladies that want to know how to deal with a horrible, abusive husband or boyfriend or father or friend. That some guys can be pretty cruel. I don't know, but this is an amazing story of survival, and she's a survivor. So enjoy the interview. I'll be back for the cooking episode, and check it out. Well, everyone, I have a fantastic guest for you to meet today, and I'm learning about her as well because she's one of our newest ambassadors. She's ambassador 12,327, originally from Mumbai, which used to be called Bombay, and I like Bombay gin much better than Mumbai gin.
I know.
But her name is Vasu Pawar. She has a master's in English, a couple other degrees. She was a teacher in Mumbai. As you know, I love teachers. By the way, Vasu, I have three categories of my favorite careers. One is teachers,
Wow.
two is farmers, and three is doctors. So you're on the
Awesome.
top of the list.
Awesome.
And if you can tilt your camera down just a little bit so we see more of you, a little
Is
bit
that
more.
better?
That's a little bit more is good. And she now is working with Kevin Call, who I helped when he was running for governor of California. He runs the U.S. Business Global Network, right? Something like that, USGBN.
US Global Business Forum.
Yeah, and you run the women's section of that or something, right?
Yes.
And she'll be speaking on, that's a September conference in Los
It's a
Angeles.
women's segment that I am going to be chairing.
Go women.
Yes.
Without them, we wouldn't be here, even you.
I know.
So my first question to you, Vasu, is because this is the complete guide to happiness, and that's our goal in life. And you're a teacher, so you must know about those kind of things. How do you define happiness?
Well, when I was a teacher, I looked at life differently there. When I grew up there, I felt that the teachers looked at those students who are very good in their school, the top students, as something special. The rest of them, it was like they're okay students, right? And it used to bother me when I was a student myself. And I said, one of these days when I become a teacher, I'm going to make sure they're all equal. Okay. So when I became a teacher, I was teaching math and English. That those are my two subjects. And I didn't understand why some of the students could understand the math and some couldn't in most of the classes. And I felt that if I'm the teacher, every kid in my class should understand what I'm teaching. There's no such thing as a brighter student or a good or a poor student or whatever you want to call that, you know. So I'm in my class, I made sure that every child understood the problem equally. Okay, so that's what my goal was when I was teaching, and I made sure that I had 50 kids in my class, generally speaking, approximately. That was the class in those days, 50 at least, you know. And so I made sure that every kid in my class understood my problem, understood everything that I was teaching. And that's the reason I got the Best Teacher Award every single year. So, and my kids were so disciplined. Every time the principal passed by, whether I was in the class or not, even if I had stepped out for a few minutes, she would see that every kid in my class was focused on what they were doing. Okay. They were learning it. There were four kids in my class who were top students there. And they would make sure that everybody else understood also that, hey, what is that you didn't understand? So every kid in my class understood everything that I taught. And that's where I felt that then I'm a good teacher. Over here, I wanted to be a teacher as well when I came to the US. And I didn't like the fact that there was no respect for a teacher. That's how I felt, okay? Because there was too much
Oh,
respect.
you're right.
And so I felt that a teacher was more like a friend versus somebody different from, hey, she's teaching us, so imparting knowledge to us. And that person should be respected in that manner, is what I felt, you know?
Mhm.
And I didn't get that. And so I decided not to be a teacher in the US. I was teaching in North Carolina in a private school. But after a little while, I felt that I didn't want to be a teacher in the US, you know. And one of these days, I thought when I go to the college level or something, maybe I might think about it again. But I still have that desire to be a teacher, you know. So
Well, I'm a life coach as well as a philosopher and
okay,
a number of other hats. But I'm feeling that you should be a teacher that teaches teachers
yes, I felt the same way
because
because what I
teachers are. uh,
yeah,
I mean, you're so influenced by teachers, and there's so many poor ones. I mean,
yes, yes.
bad ones.
See, the reason is that the teachers over here are more focused on completing the syllabus that's given to them. You got to complete this and complete that, but they're not focused on whether a child in the class had understood their syllabus, right? And that's the problem that I see. And I'm sure I'm 100% right because I'm seeing my grandchildren also going to school now. And if my daughter is not sort of trying to take their homework and do the stuff, I don't think the kids are leveled with the educational level that they need to have. And it's not the child's fault. It's more about how you emphasize the education on the students. It has to be fun also. Just like Mr. Fantastic is fun for us, you know, to be a part of.
Doctor
I feel that
Fantastic.
the
Doctor
teachers,
Fantastic.
so that's the reason I feel that every teacher should be fantastic. Okay.
Yes. And I have a very important program. I don't know if you've gone through any of my websites or my social media, but have you seen the Global Kindness Pledge yet?
A little bit I've looked at it, but not really into the depth of what you
Okay,
have there.
I'm
Yeah.
going to get your opinion on this. Matter of fact, I'm going to have you repeat it after me because it's already showing tangible results around the world. And as you know, the children are our future.
Yes.
And we have, and hopefully you at least know this so far because I've given you a welcome letter. Most people don't have the time to even read the welcome letter, but
Yeah.
there's three commitments that literally solve all mankind's problems. Be kind to yourself, love yourself unconditionally, be kind to others, it's the golden rule, and be kind to Mother Earth. Well, children need to love themselves. How can they be successful if they don't have confidence? This pledge, which you're about to recite after me, my goal is to get it to be recited every day, every school around the planet. That's my dream. And it builds self confidence, it fosters camaraderie, it spreads energy to the room. A lot of schools are doing it before and after class, whichever you like. because it's for the children. It's for our future. And here's how it goes. I want you to feel the power of this, and I want you to
Okay.
repeat after me, okay? I pledge to be kind to and love myself.
I pledge to be kind and to love myself.
I pledge to be kind to and strive to love all others.
I pledge to be kind and to inspire love to others.
I pledge to be kind to love and respect our Mother Earth.
I pledge to be kind and to respect our Mother Earth.
We are all fantastic.
We are all fantastic.
At this point, I have them point to their friend in the class and say, "You are fantastic."
You are fantastic.
And then you finish it by saying, "I am fantastic."
I am fantastic.
Now, you must know about manifestation. Well, first, let me ask you, how does that feel?
It feels great. Absolutely great.
Okay, so basically, it accomplishes a lot of good, right? And it's not going to happen overnight, but it's already showing tangible results. And this is for our future because there's just too much greed, there's too many wars, there's too much violence, there's too much poverty. We've got,
Yes.
and kindness is the cure to everything. And I made it simple for humans because these three commitments you can't forget. Be kind to yourself, be kind to others, be kind to our Mother Earth. It's so
Totally
simple.
agree with you. Yes.
So I'm trying to get into the ministries of education. We're doing a hell of a good job in Nigeria, and getting to the higher ups. If you have any connections in the educational system, because it's broken. We all know it's broken. They're teaching the wrong things even, but it's
Thank
a
you.
broken
Yes,
system.
I want to say that, but I don't know how the teachers will take it when they listen to what I have to say, right? So I'm kind of nervous about that part, So
The ego gets in the way a lot,
yeah, yeah.
But this isn't about religion. It's not about politics, and it's not commercial. I have over a dozen programs on World Kindness List that are replicatable in every community, and they're free. They just need a volunteer to administer them.
Correct.
So there's a saying in life that says nothing in life is free. Well, the kindness revolution is free, and you're part of it. And I'm so happy that you're a teacher. And I love these episodes here for the complete guide to happiness, because that's our goal in life. But I didn't ask you my second question because I think I got derailed on your first answer on, well, what does happiness mean to you? What did you do today that made you happy?
Well, my goal always is to get up in the morning every single day and think about what I can do for somebody. So this morning, of course, as usual, I go drop my granddaughter to school. This was her first day at school.
Oh,
I wanted her to be very inspired in school, just as I always was, And so that was my goal today. But there are a lot of other things that I have in mind for the day as well, So it's not just the beginning of the day, but also to the end of the day. I'm always thinking of the young adults, just like I saw them in school there today. And I know that they don't even know what they're going to do tomorrow, And some of them may take the wrong route. And it is for people like us who understand life better, to make sure that they don't take that route, because they're all intelligent, smart, and dignified in their own ways. And somehow, I think life has, maybe because it's nobody who's listening to them, that they haven't understood them, So when I've talked to these students, these young adults, I've seen that they all need somebody to hold their hands. And once they find somebody, oh yeah, I could do this too, I could do that, I could do this, And so we can really lead them to the right path, and let them know that there's something like love and there's someone like kindness that's there for them, a holding hand that is bringing that love and kindness to them. So I think that if all of the parents take the responsibility in the world, all the adults take the responsibility of holding at least a few hands that they can, that they, that around them, I think we can change the world to be something different, And I think that all of these things don't cost any money, It's a simple thing that you have to inwardly understand life as it is. It's not about how much education, how many degrees. I have so many of them myself, but it wasn't one of those. It was about understanding where we can take the world to. You can be educated as much as you want and can have as many degrees, but if you don't try to do and share that knowledge and information and the education and also the experience that I've had for 35 plus years working for corporate companies and taking them to great heights, also taught me that, hey, I can take a lot of the young adults to that great heights. It's who can do that better than me? Like I have an example where I've taken one company from 2 million to 26 million in 2 years with my experience and my knowledge and my strategies and my understanding about how business should be. If I could do that, then I think I can help the young adults to also be there, you know?
Well, I remember when you were speaking there, I remember there was a position in schools called a guidance counselor. And those teachers should be basic guidance counselors,
They
as
should be.
parents should be. But
Yes.
the thing is, one of my sayings as a philosopher is the more you know, and you know a lot of stuff, the easier your life is and the more valuable you are to others. But it's sharing, it's being able to share your knowledge. But the thing is, my sharing and my philosophy the last 5 years going around is free. And people
Yeah.
don't respect free. That's the biggest problem I'm having.
I have had the same problem myself, you know. I'm trying to do something for the young adults. As I told you that from my experience, I decided that let me start a nonprofit organization, you know, Step to Step Up, which was taking the first step in your life to step up in your life. That's the meaning of that whole organization of mine. And I have had the toughest time when I see that there are millionaires and billionaires out there, right? But when you talk about asking them to help this student who has a project, so he or she can become an entrepreneur. Okay, now when somebody becomes an entrepreneur, basically that person is also bringing employment to the other people. Okay, changing lives out there, you know, providing for earnings for some families and stuff like that. And not only that, but the knowledge and information that we are providing that person also, uh, you know, we are changing his life. We are funding his project, right? My goal is that you know, most of the young adults don't have the money to fund their projects, right? You know, and that's where they're stuck. Oh, I have ideas, I have this and I have that, but I can't do nothing because I don't have the money. And that's why I wanted some of these sponsors and some people who have so much money sitting there doing nothing pretty much sometimes, right? That they could sponsor a child, you know, and say, okay, here's, if you need $4,000 or whatever that project needs, it'll be different from each child. Somebody might need just 2,000. He can get his act together and start his business, or he or she can start the business. But it might be a little bit more for some, because depending on the technology and you know that stuff, what he or she has put together. And I thought that if they don't put something like that or don't honor some projects like that, I think our world can be sitting there doing nothing with what are you? None of us take anything with us
Well, I always say,
when we
ask
leave the
not
earth,
what the
right?
world can do for you, but what you can do for your world. You know?
Yes, yes. So I don't know how to
Well,
bring
I'll
about
tell you, I
this.
tell you how I'm doing it, and I want your help because you're part of the kindness revolution now.
Yeah,
I'm creating. Well, we've only got 12,300, which is a small number in the world, but
correct.
it's a huge number because
Yeah,
there's some really amazing people like yourself in this community, and the community is bonded by kindness, the three commitments to kindness. So
yeah,
what I'm creating now, for years, people would say, "How can I?" Because people need to make money. I'm retired. I'm not chasing money anymore.
correct,
People
correct.
would always say, "How can I promote my business in your community?" I go, "No, I'm sorry. This isn't about business or religion. It's about love and kindness and harmony and peace, right?"
Yeah,
So then I realized, well, at one point, people need to make money. So I'm coming out, and maybe you can help me with this because it hasn't launched quite yet because it takes a few dollars to do the mechanism. But it's
yeah,
called the Global Kindness Social Network.
yeah,
And you have to be an ambassador of kindness because I won't talk to you unless you're an ambassador of kindness. I
yeah.
mean, that means you're greedy or you're
Oh
just not
yeah, yeah,
you're not a
absolutely.
kind person.
Yeah,
So it's a community of like-minded, positive people that are called ambassadors of kindness. Now you can promote Step to Step Up in this community in 146 countries at this point.
correct, correct.
Right. So
Mhm.
this is my dream to connect everyone now because I don't want to make any money from it. I don't care to make money.
Yeah, see,
All
our
my
goal is not
programs
that. Yeah, right.
all
It's
my programs are designed to make you money,
yeah,
whether it's the kindness cookie or the Be Kind Some campaign or all the different things. And you probably haven't time to check them out because nobody has time to do anything. I made a 15-second commercial the other day
yes,
because that's probably reaching the limits of a person's attention span, right?
I know.
It's getting so short, so short, so short.
Yes, I know.
but we need to help people. And I had
Absolutely.
today I
See,
just released a new program. I actually did it when I was living in Belize because I was watching every Monday. This show will air on a Monday
yeah,
morning, and so I watch the. I like to watch my own show, so I mean, at least I'm my own fan, whatever. But I watched it, and then I realized that I did this program in Belize that was quite extraordinary, and again free. It was called Give and Get, and I took a couple pallets and I made a table out front on the main little drag there on the island, and I wrote Give and Get, and I would put old stuff, books, to start it off, and then every day people would bring more books and more clothes and kitchen goods and tools, and
yeah,
then they would be gone the next day because one man's junk is another man's treasure, and so
yes,
this can be
yes,
replicatable in every community.
yes. It
And they have
can.
they've done it many, many times with books. You see these tables where someone puts their old books because they
Yeah,
read it already, and
correct,
it's collecting
correct.
dust. And a book that someone can't afford is sometimes it's not. It's always knowledge, I guess. All books
Yes.
are knowledge. So that I'm gonna that's another program that I'll list on World Kindness List because it's free. It just takes time, and a lot of times people will hear about my organization and they'll say, well, what's in it for me to be kind? They actually will say that. The
It's
poor people
always
say
like
that.
that.
The
Yeah.
uneducated say that.
Mhm.
What I love is people like you say, how can I help? That's what
Correct.
I want to hear.
Absolutely right. Yeah. You know, so like for last, like I started this organization in 2016, and I have struggled these years just to find somebody who would say, hey, I'm ready to help this child, and here's my money, or here's my donation, or here's my contribution. I don't want the contribution for me. It's not for
Yeah.
me.
Right.
It is to help this child who needs
Right.
it, right? Now, if we can change the world and ask all these young adults to use their mind to do something creative, create something of your own, they can do it. I know that they're all very knowledgeable. Like even if you, I have even tried this, like I've given $100, and how can you make this $100 into $200? Okay. That's a business a business standpoint, which I was trying to teach them. And first I said, I don't know. That was the answer, right? But then they started thinking a lot and they really came up with ideas how they could transform that $100 into $200, and some of them even more. So that's a business strategy. So then they understood, oh, this is what business is all about, is how to multiply that into something bigger.
And then there's micro loans.
Yes.
In India, you can give a $10
Yeah.
donation or a startup to a person, and if they're honest, that
Yeah.
$10 can make them a living, literally.
Yes.
And
Yes,
then,
it's true.
so now, then I came up with, because if you give a man a fish, he eats for a day. And too many people just want a fish. They want to eat for the day. If you give him
Correct.
a fishing pole, he eats for life. So in Belize, I came up with the Be Kind sign program. So I would
Mm.
take trash and I paint it yellow, usually boards or fronds from a tree. I painted the yellow as background and I would put words like be kind,
Yeah.
love, peace, harmony, happiness. And I nail them all over the island. And people would steal them. And it became a tourist attraction. So I came up with the idea is obviously people like the words be kind, which is
Correct.
that resonates with everyone's heart. And
Mhm.
I convinced a local that was selling knickknacks on the side of the road to make them, and he's still making them and making money. So these things like this, but here's the thing, business 101. Most people, the poor and the uneducated, will give like we give paint and brushes to people to get them started.
Yeah.
Now all you have to do is collect trash and you sell this. But here's business 101. Most people will take the money that they just made and spend it,
Oh,
not
yeah. Right.
not putting 10% aside for the next can of paint. That's
Exactly. That's
business 101. And
right.
you have to teach that. It's not inherent. It's not common sense for
No,
people.
it's not. Even these children who I want supported for their initiatives, whatever that is, I want to teach them also how to give back. It's not just taking, okay? So my concept is that when I have helped you with establishing you as a businessman now, you've made enough money, you're doing well, then the amount that was contributed to you, if you could give back to the organization, we can use that money to help another child. So the money should keep rolling. I shouldn't have to ask, Mr. Fantastic, can I have $2,000 from you now? I shouldn't have to ask that. That's how I felt.
Right.
So
Right.
once it starts rolling, right? And every student that is being sponsored gives us back that money, not as a Not that I'm asking them for the money, but it's something which they should learn
Pay it
about
forward. It's
paying
called pay it
forward. Yes,
forward.
they should pay forward. That I helped you, let's help another child, right? So that the money keeps rolling. And so that way we don't have to ask for big donations from people. It's the money that's rolling automatically, that's coming from whoever
100%.
has. Yeah.
100%.
So that's my biggest thing in my organization is keep the money rolling that way. That hey, I helped you. Now when you feel that hey, now I have surplus money now with me, uh, let me give this money back to you,
And
to
I
help.
think that works when someone does help you. But
Yeah.
the biggest problem with humanity and the situation on the planet, I call the
Yeah.
insanity of humanity, is greed.
Yeah, it is.
It causes wars. It just there's
It's
so much
terrible.
greed that it's rampant. It's acceptable that the really, really rich are getting rich, the poor are getting poor, and there's no middle class anymore.
No questions. But I liked your story also, your personal story also, which I was thinking of that myself, that there are so many foster kids, who are just taken from places to places. And I have read stories about that. I have a friend, Susan Seats.
Broken system. Foster
I
system's
don't know if you
broken.
know, yeah. I don't know if you know Susan Seats, but she's another person who always goes and helps out. She goes to India every single year just to help the poor people there. She'll come up with some ideas. Hey, let's do this, let's do that. It was fantastic working with her, and she still goes every single year, to
I'd like
India.
to meet her.
Yes, you should
You
meet
should
her.
be an ambassador of kindness.
Yes, she would be. She would love to be one of those. I'm telling you, I know that. She was on my thoughts. When I met
What's
you.
funny is like what you're thinking, oh, I know someone that would be kind that would be part
Yes.
of this, or because the more people that think like that, they take the
Yeah.
time to say, oh, I want to introduce you to this person. Because I tell
Correct.
people, I don't want to go out of you. Vasu, you got lots of things to do. You got organizations, you got your dreams.
Yeah.
I don't want to burden you, but I have all the time in the world every day to
Yeah.
talk to
Yeah.
people. So just give me the introduction.
Absolutely right. Now, just like you have your story, I have a story of my own, which is what I told you. I wanted you to
Please
understand.
tell us.
Like when I come here, I was married. I came here because I was married to somebody. It was an arranged marriage as a tradition in India, right? And he had portrayed to my father that he was a civil engineer. India, the education is a big thing, as you know, right? So when they match things, it's not like they match just anybody they want. They would always match the educational side of it, and that's what my father did. And oh, he's a civil engineer, he's in the US. My brother and sister were already in the US at that time. My brother was doing his PhD. My sister was also doing her medical technology in the US. And I was the third person who my father said would be the right person to come to the US. She'll do something with it, right? And so I was married to this guy. But then I come here, or I get married. I would say I got engaged in a week and married the following week. So within 2 weeks, I was married to this guy. I knew nothing about him. He knew
How
nothing.
old? How old were you?
I was in my 20s. I would say I was 25 because I had already had my educational side of it done,
And this is in India or
in
in
India,
America?
in
In
India,
India still.
in
Okay.
India. Yeah. So here I come here. He was from Kansas City, Missouri. Okay. And here I'm married to this dude. Took me about 6 months to get here. The immigration process I'm talking about, right? So when I landed here, I have my green card already. The system was different then. You would get your green card on
Wait a
your.
minute, let me stop you for a second because I'd like
Yeah.
to follow the story.
Yes.
It was arranged marriage with an American, not an Indian?
No, Indian. He was an Indian,
Oh, Indian, but you said he was from Kansas City.
but he was from Kansas City, Missouri. He had
Oh,
gone
okay,
to
okay,
India
okay.
to find a girl. So let's put it that way, right?
Gotcha.
So that's how I get married to this guy. And so when I come here, no, even before I came here, and he was here already. Like I said, it took me 6 months for the processing, the immigration processing I'm talking about, right? To actually land here in the US, right? So somewhere along the line, I got married in the month of February, and I came here in the month of August. That's how long it took me for the processing of the immigration stuff, right? And before I even came here, those 6 months that I'm talking about, that I was in India, he used to write nasty letters to me. I didn't know why. I said,
He wasn't there?
I'm so he was in the US. He had gone to the US back.
Oh, you got married and he left.
He left, yes.
Okay.
And I was there, right, in India, still
Okay,
waiting for the processing to be done, right?
gotcha.
And so in those 6 months that I was there, he wrote me the nastiest letters, and I couldn't understand why, right?
Yeah.
Like here, I'm married, and I'm like all happy, ready to go with this new thing, right? But instead, it was weird how I received those letters. So one day a letter comes to me, and my dad hands over that letter to me he's thinking it's a love letter, right? He's like handing over the letter to me. I open the letter and I start crying. And he noticed that I was crying, my dad. And he comes from the back and pulls a letter from my hand. He said, my daughter is just got married. She couldn't possibly be crying. Why would she be crying, right? So he said, I don't care how personal this letter is. It's supposed to be personal. I'm not supposed to be interfering with your personal life at all. But my daughter cannot cry. There's got to be something in this letter that has made my daughter cry. I've never seen my daughter cry. She's always happy and always doing her things, there. So he grabs the letter from it and he reads it. And then the first thing he tells me, you are not going to the US. That's what he told me. He understood what predicament I would be in going to the US. Okay. He understood that from reading letters, all the things that he had written there. He said, no, you're not going to the US. End of the story. I don't care how much money I've spent for your wedding and how many, how in India we have at least minimum 1,000 people that come for the wedding, right? It's a big wedding. It's never a small wedding ever. You invite all your relatives and friends and everybody. There won't be anyone that that didn't come for your wedding. It's pretty much like that, right? So we had thousands, I would say at least 2,000 people that came for the wedding. And so my father said, I don't care how many people came for the wedding, and I don't care how much money I spend on you on the wedding, but you are not going to the US. That's what he told me. That was a decision made by the family, that he understood what problems I would be facing going to US with this guy.
What were the problems? You want to tell us?
No. So I tell my father, right, the family has made that decision. You're not going to the US. You're not going to see this guy at all. Forget about him. I'll find another guy. That's what my father's thing, right? So he goes, but I told my father, I said, he doesn't know me. Once he finds out I'm a nice person and, things will change, I said to him. Because I thought if I don't go and take a chance, I will always have that in my mind that I didn't even give it a chance, right?
But you liked him.
I thought of it in a positive way. So I told my father, I said, no, I would like to go and see, what it's all about, So I come to the US, and like I said, I got my green card at the airport itself. That was different then, okay? Now it's different. That time the green card was in my hands at the airport itself in New York, okay? So from New York, my brother and sister-in-law and all, they come to see me at the airport. I didn't know that because there was no phones then, right? No iPhones, none of that stuff then. So I didn't even know that my brothers and all were coming to see me, because they thought she has to get out of the plane here to catch her flight to Kansas City, Missouri, right? But I ask around at the airport and say, hey, how do I get to the LaGuardia airport and all that? I ask this, oh, you don't have to get out of the airport at all. You can go here. They told me how to catch a bus and go to the LaGuardia airport to catch that flight to Kansas City, Missouri. So that's what I did. So I didn't even meet my brother and my sister-in-law and my sister who had come to see me there. The reason they had come to see me was to give me birth control pills. Okay. So I don't get pregnant or something like that, right?
Aren't you supposed to get pregnant? Isn't that the deal?
That would have happened. They knew that, right? So then nobody understood this guy. So they said they didn't want me to take that chance, right? So that's what they were, but I didn't meet them though, just so you know. I didn't meet them at all. I took this flight internally to LaGuardia, land in Kansas City, Missouri. Okay, so anyway, just wanted to tell you that little thing there. So for a week, he was introducing me to all the family members there, Indian people there.
I gotta stop you because I always got to get the full story.
I know.
Was he surprised to see you, and was he happy to see you?
Well, I'm sure had some negative stuff in his mind, but of course he's happy to introduce me to all of the people there, right? So for a week or two that happened, introducing me, having lunch and dinners and all that with families and whoever were there that he knew. That happened, and so of course I noticed some couple of things there, which is when people say, "Oh, you have such a beautiful wife," or how beautiful she's dressed up, and anything nice about me, I would see his face would be like they didn't say anything about him. I saw that difference there, right? I didn't say anything, but I noticed that, like.
Well, I think, was he thinking that all the guys are going to try to steal you away because you're so pretty?
No, it was more about he felt that they should have said something about him too.
Yeah. Egos from
Praises
his.
about me should have been praises about him too, because they never said anything about him, right? So
Okay.
I noticed that even when we got married that day also, lots of people coming and congratulating us on the stage and whatever stuff, right, happens in India too. I noticed that there too, because everybody was complimenting me. What a beautiful bride you have. They were telling him, but they never saying that, oh, you are such a handsome or whatever. So I noticed that there too, but I just ignored all that stuff. But anyway, so when I came here, the same thing I noticed here as well. So for a week or two was fine. But after that, it was where he was the most abusive man you have ever heard of.
Wow.
Okay.
Well,
That's
let me
what,
ask you something for a quick question. Was there any love at this point
no,
from
no,
you? You didn't love him yet?
no, because I don't know him. How do I
I
love
don't
him?
know. I don't know. Some people
No,
fall in
no, no,
love
no.
by looking at
Because
someone.
see, remember that he only stayed for a week or so after we got married, and he was back here. So I
But
never got a chance.
you
Yeah.
had a fun week, no? The first week?
No, no, not really.
Not even
No,
that.
no,
Okay.
it wasn't. No, it
Damn.
wasn't like how you talk. No, there was no such thing at all there that happened that I would think about, because India it was very conservative kind of, the way things are in India. So, but after I got married, he had a week, but he took me to meet all his family members and all that. So that all that stuff was happening. It was not with me and him together alone anyway. No, we never did that. I never had that chance, right? So I don't know him. He doesn't know him still. Know me either, right?
Right.
So it was that kind of a thing. But I think he had a plan in his mind, which I didn't know what that was, which was controlling me. Mostly it was that. Okay. And his letters did say things like that. That was something like that also. But I didn't know why or how did that happen, or why would you think of me that way? Was were things that were running in my mind. But my father understood that very well. And so that's why he said not to go, right? That's why he didn't want me to go to the US. But
Right.
anyway, so first of all, he would say to me that, oh, it'll be very difficult for you to find a job in the US and this and that. And you'll be lucky if you find a job in 5 years. That's what he was saying. And I'm saying, huh? I said, first of all, I have an English literature major. I speak English quite fluently. I don't lack anything there. And I was a teacher in India too. A couple of things are complimenting me where going for an interview was out of question for me. It was like, hey, I got this, right?
Sure.
But anyway, but that's what he would frame my mind, that you would not find a job and all that, right? Things like that. So one day he arranges for a job interview for me through an agency, but he wanted to make a fool of me. That was the reason he did that. Now I tell him, I said, hey, I don't have any of the outfits to go for an interview, job interview. Oh no, you got lots of the Indian outfits. Why don't you wear one of those? I said, nobody does that. I said, nobody goes for a job interview with, oh, everything is okay, he says. You don't have to worry about that. But he wanted to make a fool of me. That was the idea. So out of all the outfits that I tried to pick something, but you know how Indian outfits are, they're very jazzy and all. There's nothing that really
No business.
that's
There's no
appropriate.
business at
Yeah,
all.
nothing of that, right? So out of those, I picked one that is like a sort of a solid navy blue kind of an outfit, which didn't have too much of that stuff on it. And I said, okay, I'll wear this because I don't have a choice now, right? And when I go for the interview, the first thing I do is I tell the guy who was interviewing me, I said, I'm really sorry that what I'm wearing, I said, there's a wedding in the family today. And I didn't want to skip the interview. And so I came dressed up like that. I'm really sorry for that. So that's what I did first. So I got that out of the way. I said, why am I dressed up this way? So
Yeah, right.
so he said, oh my God, you look so gorgeous. And this, and I said, it turned into a different story then there. And after the interview, but guess what? I get my first interview in the United States of America in the computer field, which is what I wanted because I just got the degree in computer science, right? And that's what I was looking for, is to become somebody in the computer field. So get my first job. And I didn't know whether that was a good salary, bad salary. I knew nothing about that yet, right? I'd not lived here to know whether what I'm making is good or not, but it was a really good salary because I talked to my brother and said, oh my God, that's an awesome salary you're making. I said, oh, thank you. I didn't know all that stuff, right? So now here I finished the interview, come downstairs, he's waiting for me to pick me up, right? And he starts rattling. I told you won't get the job. For 30 minutes, I go through that drama with him and he doesn't shut up, right? And then after he shuts up, I tell him I got the job. Shocked, totally shocked. And yet he wanted the money. right? Money is the big thing, right? Now here's another income coming, adding to it. So then he had no choice.
This guy's a moron.
But at the same time, he was extremely abusive. Okay. And yes, what I didn't want to
Physically, did he slap you?
physically, yes.
Oh my God.
The worst stories that you have heard of abusive women, that's me. Okay. That's why I told you that I wanted you to hear the story. I
Yeah.
didn't come here and become today who I am. But what I went through was a drama of its own. And this went on of so much that I would tell you in the shortest way is I think I was unconscious most of the time. So you understand what I went through, right?
You shut down to get,
Yes,
it's
totally,
a
totally.
terrible experience.
Totally dominating me in every respect. There wasn't even a conversation that would lead to that. I was very quiet and very naive the way I was brought up in India, very naive, So I didn't even know how to make any kind of a conversation with him. So I hardly ever talked really. I was very quiet and all that. And yet he did that to me. Then I get pregnant. Nobody's taking me to a doctor. Nobody's trying to find out anything about or eating right. And none of that happened, right? And he's waking me up at 4 in the morning to cook his Indian meal. Okay. It's basically torture, nothing else. It was that,
Well, you're a slave, basically. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I'll cook all his meal and all, pack his bag, and I would never once bought a tiffin can or a box for me to take my lunch. Never. Okay. He would give me $1. And who's making the money? I'm making the money. Think about that, right?
What did he do? What was his?
He would just make me sign the page. That's what I'll tell you later. That's
Okay.
the biggest story of that whole drama.
Oh, explosive end.
So so here I don't even know why he's doing all that stuff. And he's a civil engineer, supposed to be, right? I'm looking at it that way. And I'm looking at it, so the way he dresses and all, it kind of used to bother me. I said, is he really a civil engineer? Or used to,
All right,
I'd
civil
be nuts
engineer.
about that. But anyway, so I went through this drama for quite some time. And then I was pregnant, like I told you, I was 6 months pregnant. And I told him, I said, don't you think I should be going to see a doctor? And he said to me, oh, my mom had all the kids at home. Okay. What's the big deal about it? So that scared the hell out of me. Okay. And I was working and the company loved me so much, whatever I was doing for them. And my boss used to ask me, Vasu, are you okay? And I would say, yeah, I'm fine. I was always covering this husband guy, and I would say, no, I'm fine. I'm fine. And then she would see the bruises on my body. And that's why she questioned me, right? And so every time she would ask me that, I would say, I've slipped on the snow or this and that. And she would tell me, Vasu, you should wear tire shoes, in the snow. You should wear certain kind of shoes. You can't wear the shoes you wear. Okay, I said, I'll do that. But I would really not, he wouldn't buy for me anything anyways, right? So it was out of question. So I went through that drama for quite some time. And then one day I told my boss, I said, I'm really sorry. I've made a decision of going back to India, leaving this guy. And she said, I knew something was wrong, Vasu. I asked you so many times, are you okay? And you kept saying to me, you're okay. And I knew you were not okay. Okay. So I said, so she said to me, have you filed correctly for the divorce and all that? I said, if you decide not to come back ever, then you should do the legal filings. I said, I don't even have $1 in my pocket. So I said, what do you do with all this money you make? You've been with me for 6 months now. So she said, I don't know. He takes my paycheck. He makes me sign. What he does with my money, I have no clue. I don't even know how much money he has in the bank. I know nothing about it. Absolutely nothing. So she goes, oh my God, Vasu, I'm so sorry to hear that. Don't worry about it. I'll take you to my lawyer. My boss, who's an American girl, Rosemary Smith, takes me to her lawyer at lunchtime. She said, don't leave like this. Hold on, I'll take you to my lawyer. So she takes me to her lawyer and she gets all the filing done legally for me, the divorce part of it. And her lawyer says that the day you decide to go, that's the day that you, 2 days after, the Monday that comes after that. If you're leaving on a Friday, then the Monday that comes after that is when I will serve him. Okay, so that's what the decision that was made. And she paid for all of this stuff, the lawyer. Think about that. I had a very good relationship with her, and she knew that I was miserable and all that. She said, so it was a Friday that I had decided to leave. And she told me that we would get our paychecks on Tuesday. She said, you need to tell your ex of that husband of yours, that we had some computer problems and you didn't get a paycheck. She wanted to give me at least the last paycheck in my hand,
Exactly.
some
Exactly.
money. So I said, okay. She said, I'll take you to the bank. Then nobody's going to know you. So, but I'll take you to the bank and I'll make sure they cash the check, because she was the manager there, that company, the company name was Business Essentials in Kansas City, Missouri, right? So she goes and does that for me. She had decided to do that for me the day I leave, right?
But a quick question. You liked America, right?
Of course.
You're making, why
I
wouldn't
enjoyed
you,
my job so
why go
much
back to India? Why not just leave them and,
because I was pregnant. I had no money. How do I have this baby and all that?
because you're making money?
No, but the money is going to somebody else.
No, but now you can stop that.
No, see, I think it was too complicated for me. There was no insurance, nothing, absolutely nothing, right? So it was difficult. It was so many difficulties that I didn't know what to do. And I thought the best thing is to go to India. My father was a very open-minded person. Don't worry about anything. I'll take care of your child. Don't worry about it. That's how my father was. He supported me
Because you got to buy
100%.
a ticket to get to India as well.
My brother did that. My brother
Oh,
was
okay.
here, right? My
Okay.
brother bought my ticket. He did everything. So all that were arranged by my brother. Also had an open ticket for me because I told him what was going on. At the final stage, I told him, I said, "Hey, this was going on, and my life isn't what you thought it was." So my brother booked my open ticket for me. So whenever I decide to get out of there, he said, "I'll come," and kicked his ass. I said, "No, don't do any of that stuff. You'll be in trouble. I'll manage it till then, so don't do that." So I told him not to come at all. So that's how it was. So my boss, Rose, she said, "I'll come to your house." I had the key. I don't even know why he gave me the key to the house. I have no idea. But I had a key to the house. So she comes with me at lunchtime to my house, right? And I had packed my bag and all and kept it ready because I had a lot of jewelry, valuable jewelry I'm talking about.
From the
Okay.
wedding, because you got lots of
Yes,
gifts at the
yes.
wedding. Very good. I'm surprised he didn't take your jewelry and sell it.
Because it was at home, that's why I could do that. If he had put it in the bank, that was also out of question. But
Right.
maybe he wasn't smart enough, or whatever you want to call that. So Rose, I was packing the final things, which was jewelry and all that. She saw all the jewelry and she said, "Vasu, who are you?" So I said, just an ordinary person. I said. She said, "No, Vasu, you are probably a princess or something like that, because I've never seen this much jewelry in my entire life." That's what she said to me. Okay.
Well, this story's going to have a kicker at the end.
But she didn't know. She didn't know that all Indians have jewelry. That's a tradition. When you go for a wedding, Indian wedding, everybody gives you jewelry or cash. They won't give you like a toaster or any of that stuff you need for the house. Never.
I like that system.
Yeah. And the reason for that was the same reason that if something happens to the husband, the woman has all this money and jewelry to support herself.
Right.
That's the tradition, and that's why it was like that. And it still is, I think. Maybe it's not as valid as it used to be then. And but then that was a tradition. So Rosemary helps me to pack up the stuff, and she in her mind thought I was some princess, and in which I wasn't. So um and she takes me to work. She works for a little bit, and then she drops me at the airport, right? So all my legal stuff is already done. The Saturday that came after that Friday, which there was supposed to be a baby shower. My friends there who were there called me and say, "Hey, make sure you come on Saturday for the baby shower." They didn't tell me it was my baby shower. They told me it was somebody else because there was another lady who was also pregnant, right?
Welcome to the Be Fantastic channel, where you will find many fantastic interviews with amazing people,
Visit the top world museums,
incredible zoos,
beautiful national parks.
special events, and much more.
These videos are designed to educate,
Inspire.
motivate, and entertain you.
We hope you will enjoy them.
Join the Be Fantastic philosophy.
Please subscribe.
Like and share.
So I leave on that Friday. I leave a note for him, all that stuff, I do that. The only thing that he had given me was a necklace, which is a traditional necklace with black beads in it, that he has to give me. So he gave me. Rest of the jewelry was mine. My mom and dad had given me, right? So that's the only thing I leave there behind. Just like you guys have a wedding ring, in Indian tradition, that necklace is important as a wedding, whatever you want to call that, right? Wedding
Bond.
is a so so I leave that necklace there, and I said, if you don't understand the meaning of this necklace, please take this necklace and leave it, keep it with you. I left it there with him and wrote the short note, and I left from there. And Rose helped me because my ticket, like I told you, was already booked by my brother, open ticket. So I flew to Illinois. That's where my brother was at,
Mm.
So I flew to Illinois, and my brother had booked the ticket that the following day I would fly to India. That's how it was all booked, And my sister, she accompanied me to help me with everything, to carry my luggage or whatever, because I was 6 months pregnant that time. When I was so technically you're not allowed to fly, but I had taken a letter, from a doctor that I was flying to Kansas City to Illinois. So it was really for the short flight, but I used it to go to India actually. That same letter for the flight. They don't allow you to go when you're this far, usually, So anyway, so I went to India, and had my baby there, of course, and she was a daughter. I prayed to God all my life. I mean, all the time I was there, that I want a girl, not a boy. Because if it was a boy, this guy would have done anything and everything to take him away from me, right? But nobody wants a girl, right? She's not considered an asset. It's what they, at least then that's how it was.
No,
Not
I know, I
right,
know, I
right?
know.
So I said, no, I prayed and prayed and prayed. I must have a girl. I must have a girl. And believe me, I had a girl. And the doctor, when she came to tell me, she had like a sad face to tell me it was a girl, not a boy. And I was so happy. She said, you're the first person that has been so happy to have a girl. I said, yes, I prayed so much that I should have a girl. And I'm so happy that I have a girl. So that's what I did. Then finally, I stayed there for a little bit, with my parents. And my dad said to me, he said, Vasu, you have a green card from the US. You're the right person to go to the US, and you should go back to the US. Make use of yourself, the education, everything that you have. I think you should go back. So guess what now? I take my dad arranges for my stay in California with his best friend to stay with the family for a little bit, And the reason my dad wrote a letter to him is because when he came to the US as a civil engineer, my dad had helped him with, I think, $5,000 to buy his ticket and for some money for his whatever he needed to fly to the US. Okay. And he said, don't worry about the money. Whenever you get settled and all that, you worry about it then. So my dad had helped him. So my father just wrote to him and said, you know what, can you help my daughter? Just for a little while till she finds a job and all that. If you can help her, I'll really appreciate that. He said, you should command that. He said, what you did for me, even my own family members couldn't do it for me. And so don't even ask for a favor. This is not a favor. This is something which I'm so happy to do for you.
Pay it forward.
So he is the one who came to see me receive me at the airport. But before that, what happened is, as I was cleaning the drawers before I left there, I found his paycheck. And I found out from the paycheck that he was not a civil engineer at all. He had some minimum wage job that he was working at, that company that he was working every morning. And my paycheck was 10 times what he had.
Wow.
Just to let you know. So he was not a civil engineer. He had cheated my father. And so his dominance was more about that I don't tell the public that he's not a civil engineer. Okay. So
This guy had a big ego.
big ego, absolutely.
For
In the Indian culture, education is very important. And he knew that, right? So he just played all this game with thinking that he's Americanized here. He wasn't Americanized at all, zero, right? But so that's how I went there and came back here again and stayed with my family friend, my brother's best friend, for about 3 months, and I found my job. So before that, my brother and all were telling me, so Vasu, you need to go and take some education in the US. They may not recognize all your education that you have from India. And I said, why? I said, so he goes, no, that's how it is over here. You have to have a degree from the US. And I said, I refuse to accept that at all, because whatever I have, I don't think that I should have any difficulty finding a job, I said to him. So I don't think I need a degree. But if you think that I should get a degree from the United States, I'll get it after I get settled and I prove to you that I have a degree from here, only because you asked me to, not because I need it. That's what I told him, right? So he said, okay, you have 5 months of time. And figure this out for yourself. And I said, okay, 5 months is good enough. 5 years, he said, 5 years. Okay, and I'll meet you after 5 years. Let's see how you do. Let's see how I do. He was doing his PhD, like I told you. And I was doing I was just working, right? Looking for a job. So I find my first job here in California as well. And before that, I had struggled a lot. Every morning I used to go for interviews, no car, no nothing. I used to walk, I think it was at least 4 or 5 miles. I used to walk to catch a bus to go to downtown LA to find a job every morning, right? So it was such a struggle. Coming back, it was the same thing. I had to make sure that get there before the last bus that was available there to get home. I did a lot of walking every morning, every evening, back and forth and all that. So I struggled a lot. And my brother said, if you don't do something here, you'll wind up working for fast food or something like that. That's what he told me, right? And I said, I don't have all this education to work for these fast food places. Absolutely not. But he was challenged for 5, 6 years, right? He'd give me this challenge that like, I give you 5 years, let's see how you do. 5 years after that, I met, and believe it or not, I worked very hard to establish myself. I stayed with this family for 3 months, but then after that, I was on my own, and I had my job that I really wanted. And I worked for a government industry, John Richard of California, my first job. And I didn't even have a computer to type up my resume. Okay. So I didn't know what to do because I wrote the resume with a handwritten resume. I didn't have a computer, right? So when I go for this job interview there, I hand wrote my interview, my resume, and I go with that handwritten one. And I tell the guy who's interviewing me, I said, hey, I'm really sorry that, I couldn't type up this resume as normally people do. So he said, oh, you have such a beautiful handwriting. How would I know that you have such a beautiful handwriting unless you had given this resume to me like that? And so he also appreciated that and took it in the right sense, and I got the job too, right? So I was the systems analyst and I was not a finance controller, I was a systems analyst. I used to manage the mainframe, the IBM system 3436 AS400 for this company. It was government manufacturing company. And the two bosses were two young people who had started this business after working for JCPenney's, after their college degrees and all that. They decided to work for JCPenney's, and they got the idea to start a government manufacturing company of their own. So these two started that business. One was born with a silver spoon, and the other one inherited some money from his dad. And that's how they both came up with this company. But they told me that they lost all the money they invested the very first year, and somehow they borrowed money the second year. And that's when I joined them, right? So they told me about the financial situation of the company already, right? So I was only managing the mainframe. I had nothing to do with the financial side of it. So one day what happens, a year and a half into the company, I get a phone call from their finance controller. And this, Vasu, can you help me? I'm in the hospital, I'm really sick, and the owners have been waiting for the financial statement for the last 3 months. And can you help me? I said, hey, I'm in the computer field, you're in the finance field, nothing to do with each other. How do I help you? So she goes, please, Vasu, I really appreciate it. So I said, you know what? In my mind, I'm thinking I know how to add and subtract for sure. And I was a teacher in math and all that. So yeah, I can at least help her with something. So I said, okay, fine, I'll see what I can do for you. So the following day I go to her office and what I do is I study her accounting system, study everything that she had, because that whole office was mine now, that she was in the hospital, right? So I study everything and I said, okay, I try to understand the difference in the accounting system in India as well as here. Over here, it's called the double entry bookkeeping. India, it's single entry bookkeeping. But I didn't know all this stuff. I just found out after studying over here. And I prepared the financial statement for her, okay, in 2 days, okay, after studying whatever she had done. And while I was preparing this financial, I got it all ready, and I had 10 or 11 errors that I thought she had made. I thought, because I'm not a finance controller, I thought she had made those errors, right? So I've made a list of those also. And I was about to give it to my boss, who's also her boss. He walks into the office and, Vasu, what are you doing in Pauline's office? I said, well, she called me from the hospital. She said she's very sick and you were very concerned about your financial statement. And I was trying to help her, and here's a financial statement for you. You know how to do this stuff? I said, I figured it out. What do you mean you figured it out? Do you have a degree in finance? I said, no. Have you worked in finance before? I said, no. So I said, well, how did you do it? I said, I figured it out. Can I call the auditors? I said, sure. Here we're all taking chances, right? He's taking a chance on me. I'm taking my chance here. The following day, we have 5 or 6 people that come from the CPA company to audit all this stuff. They look at everything. They spend an hour and a half looking at all the stuff. And then they call me in the conference room. Vasu, we want to speak to you. Can you please come to the conference room? I said, sure, absolutely. So I go to the conference room. They asked me the same question which my boss asked me. How did you do this? I said, I figured it out. So he got, how did you figure it out? We are the top CPA company in the history of our CPA company. We have not seen a single person that was able to do a financial statement in 2 days. And I have to tell you that it's the best financial statement that has ever been produced by any financial controller. And I'm saying, okay. So now, guess what happens? They tell me this is a decision we all have made. From today onwards, you are the finance controller. So now she loses her job. I felt so bad for that part, As a man, I was trying to help this girl. And
Right.
so I learned a lesson from that, which I always share with people, is when somebody gives you something to do, you take that opportunity to help that person. Because behind the screen, there's something waiting for you that you don't even know, right? So this was an opportunity waiting for me. I had no clue, right? Absolutely no clue. I was happy with my job as a systems analyst. I was doing great. I said, well, my first job in the United States, second job actually after the Kansas City, Missouri one. But this was a bigger job because it was managing the whole system there now, right? And I go, oh my gosh, now I wasn't sure at that moment, should I be happy or sad, that suddenly I'm going to a different field here, that I have absolutely no degrees.
Well, more money, I imagine as well, right?
Oh, let me tell you about that now.
I love when you say yes. I think that's the secret to success.
Yes, I want to tell you that success too. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Now, my boss tells me, he said, Vasu, whatever paycheck you want, ask for it and you'll get it. And I was so humble. I said to him, I said, I didn't even know what to ask, to be honest with you. And I say, Dick and John, whatever you give me, I'll be very happy with that. Okay. And I let that go. Guess what they do? They doubled my salary. Do you think anybody would have done that? Absolutely not.
Agreed.
Doubled my salary, gave me that position also. And within 2 years, I took this company from 2 million to 26 million. Okay. My strategies, my understanding about the business. And here I get an opportunity to uplift this company. They had already told me how broke they were, right? I told you that, right? So I changed the whole dynamics of the company. And in 2 years, believe me, this company, these two bosses, the young bosses that they were, there was not a fantastic car that they didn't have. Mercedes-Benz to Porsche to every car that you see, each one of them had one of those.
Did you get stock and bonuses and stuff?
Yes. Now, let me tell you that also. So now, first of all, my boss called me, first, let's go for a ride. I said, fine. In his Mercedes-Benz, the brand new that he had bought, right?
Right.
I said, okay. I thought we were going to some banks to, to make some deal or something like that. But he takes me on a ride and says, and he stops at a dealership. I said, oh, here you go. He wants her to buy another car. That's what I thought, right? And what are you sitting in the car was to get out of the car. So I get out of the car. On this lot, Vasu, whichever car you want, ask me for that. And that's your car today. And I go, holy shit. I said, sorry for the language, but I said, oh my gosh. I said, then again, I was humble again. I said, Dick, whatever car you pick for me, I'll be happy that he picks a sports car, a beautiful small little beautiful Honda sports car that had just come out obviously that year. He buys me the car cash paid, right? And he tells me, Vasu, take this car home and don't go back to work. Come in the morning with this car. We'll take care of your insurance, your everything. So I go back to work the following day. First of all, I drive home with this beautiful car, go to work that day and the following day. And he gives me a gas card. He pays for my insurance. Everything is taken care of. I didn't pay a single penny. On top of that, every time I did a financial statement for him, he would give me big bonuses like 10,000, 5,000, lots of money. Okay. Seriously, I'm telling you. I made checks to them on $1 million checks for them, right? But they would always compliment me. I was the only one who knew where the company was going and what they were doing. Nobody else knew in the company. It was very confidential information, right? So they adored me for that I kept all the confidentiality that they needed. And I took the company, like I told you, from 2 million to 26 million in 2 years. And I worked for them for 19 years, just so you know. And they did fantastically well. The two owners decided to split afterwards. That was their decision because, hey, you do what you want, I do what I want, and we don't have to stick together all our lives, because they had made enough money after this, right? So I changed lives there itself, in the company itself. I changed their lives, changed the whole dynamics of the company. There was not a penny that the company owed anybody at that point. Not a penny. They paid everybody the things, And of course, they closed the company after 19 years, not because it didn't do well, but because they wanted to do their own things, the two owners. They wanted to split, So I said, okay, that's your decision. And so that's where I started working for other companies after that. And I did the same for a lot of other companies too, So that's so I've
Wonderful.
always done something for others, I've
It,
always
it comes back 3 to 5-fold when you do kindness.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. Now, going back to that, I made one big mistake, and that I want to share that with you also, which is I was introduced to some guy again, okay, here in the US. And I think when we're young, what we look for is how handsome he is and how gorgeous he looks and all that stuff, right? Even the guys are doing the same thing, looking for a gorgeous woman, but they don't look at the gorgeousness from the inside. They
It's
look
the
for
book cover they look at first, and hopefully the
Absolutely
inside of
right.
the book is
Absolutely. So
great.
and I was not anything less. I did the same thing, right? Oh, this handsome somebody introduces me to him, and I only looked at one thing, is that I wanted someone who will take care of me. From the other incident that I had, okay, with my with the person I got married to, I said I want someone who will care about me, who will take care of me and all that stuff, but didn't pay attention to anything else. So I was married to this guy for 21 years, and I thought he was a good match for me and all that in many ways. But I taught him everything. I taught him his computer. I made him go to a computer school and made him take a degree in computer science. And he did well also. But in the beginning, he said, oh, I don't know how to do this. I'm not so smart like you. I said, I will teach you. I said, I have everything in my brains here. I just had this degree from computer science. So it's not like too long ago, and I know everything about it. So I'll teach you. So I taught him, got him his degree and all that stuff. I made sure he did well. But he was very lazy. He was all dependent on my earnings and all that. So I did so many things in my life. That's what I wanted to tell you. Not only did I work for that company, but few other companies also, like I told you. And this man that came into my life was more interested in my money than anything else. Okay. I had so many business. I had 2 restaurants, one in Burbank and one in Hollywood, right? And the Burbank one was basically where all the movie industry is, right? The ABC News and all in that area. It was doing so well. Everything that I did was doing very well. And I just made this mistake every single time, made him the partner in my business, every single time. And I lost all of the money, all of the businesses, every single one. The biggest business I had was I used to import leather shoes from India, some specific shoes, which I designed myself. Okay. I studied about leather, I studied about everything. And I designed this so well that my shoes were in Neiman Marcus too, J.C. Penney's, every department store that you can think about in the US, my shoes were there. Okay. That's how I became popular. Okay, that's how I became popular. But this man, like I told you, was interested in only the money, right? So what happened is I went to India. I used to go to India to do the quality control and designing and everything. And so I went to India. I was going to India that time. I had $4.2 million in my bank account at that time, right? We used to do a lot of wires because I was doing business with Philippines, Japan, every place and every person every company in the world I was doing business with. That's how but I had $4.2 million in my bank account at that time. And what I did is I had to go to India to do quality control. And so I flew there to India, and my ex was always asking me for money. I was giving him money too. I would say that his family must have got at least $250,000 from me in those 21 years that I was married to him. I wanted to help his family. It wasn't, for me, it was okay. My family, his family, what difference it makes. If they're poor, Let me help them, right? That was my mindset. And so so I left to go to India, but I made one mistake. I made him a partner in that business before I left. Biggest mistake.
He took all the money.
Biggest mistake I made. Okay. And so what happens is I basically, land there. People are trying to call me crazy, but I land there. I hardly landed there to do this quality control of this big order that I had received, and from a company in Canada, right? And I started doing all this stuff, and I get a call from my ex. I need money. I said, well, how much money do you need? I'm thinking it's 5,000, 10,000 as usual. And he said, no, I need a lot of money. I said, how much do you need? Didn't tell me how much. Guess what he did? All the $4.2 million he transfers into
He took
his
it all.
fund. Yes,
Yeah,
he
took it all.
lived on the borderline of India and Bangladesh, right? He
Doesn't
lived on
take
the border.
half, takes it all.
All of it, not even a dollar for me. Think about that one. There was $100 in the bank account, so the bank doesn't close the account, right? And he transferred all of it into his country. And that was my disaster day. And imagine my condition now.
Oh,
Building my empire to that level, and my job as well. That was the first year I decided I was going to quit my job. I quit my job that year.
yeah, you had a lot of money.
Biggest
Why
money,
not?
because I was making so much money. I said, why should I bother to do the job now, right? That was the first year before I went to India. I quit my job and went to India. Think about that now. I had a beautiful house, 5-bedroom house in Rancho Cucamonga, my dream house, I would call it. And then this is what happens. He takes all of the money, every penny that I had. I found out then that he not only had a family of his own, he was married to another woman,
Oh no, it gets worse.
another family of his own with two girls he had. Okay. So look at what we do in life is what mistakes we make in life that you pay for. And then from being a multimillionaire, I'm a beggar the next day. You understood that, right?
Oh
How
yeah.
many people can tolerate that, or how many people can visualize that? Where it places you in life, right? It's crazy. Crazy story. And I didn't know what to do. Every day I used to cry and cry. And there was no jobs because that year was when Bill Clinton was the president, where we had recession. So all the top level jobs were not available. I was even manipulating my resume to look simple, not that educated or something like that. I was making it simple, so at least I could find a simple job. But even that was difficult for me. Everybody was trying to find something for me. Then I thought of something which I called my boss from John Richard of California that I was working for, where I took them from 2 million to 26 million. He was in Oregon that time. He had decided to settle in Oregon. I called him. I said, John, hi, how are you doing? Hey, Vasu, so nice to hear from you. How are you doing? So I said, no, I called you to tell you that something went wrong. Everything went wrong for me. I said, so first of all, my husband, he cheated me with all this money, and that and one did Vasu, I thought he was a nice guy. I said, so did I, but that's not how it happened. And I don't have a job, I said, okay, and I can't find a job either. So Vasu, you're the most qualified in the United States of America. There's nothing Vasu cannot do. Nothing. So he said, no, you cannot be with a job. So he called some his friends, whatever, arranges for me for a job the very next day. I worked for a company called Century Machinery Company in downtown Los Angeles. They had a job opening. I get the job like in a day, right? And I worked for that company for 19 years too, just so you
Oh
know.
no.
Okay.
Wow.
That's someone. So then I was the system, not a system
But I'm
analyst.
surprised that you're a bit of an entrepreneurial spirit. I'm surprised that phone call, instead of getting a job, because you had a successful shoe company, why didn't he invest in the shoe company? And
Who?
the guy you called that you worked for,
My bosses you're talking about?
the old boss that you called.
No, they would have probably, but it was all destroyed already by that time, right?
Oh,
You
okay.
don't have money. Well, what do you do with that? Nothing.
No,
Zero.
but you knew the system. You were buying
I
shoes
knew
and
the
you're in
system,
the
but
department
without money,
stores.
there is no system, just so you know. If you don't have a penny in there, you need money to wire monies.
I understand, but what I'm saying
Right.
is this guy's wealthy. He could have made a
No,
partner
but
with you.
that question didn't arise then with
Yeah, I
my
know.
advice. I didn't discuss that at all with him. So I just told him what had happened and all that. So I lost my business. That's what I'm trying to tell you. I
Yeah,
lost
I
my
know.
business
I hear.
totally with no money in my pocket. How do you do business, right? and lost my clients, lost everything. It was just a disaster situation for me. So, like I said,
Did you ever sue this guy or any,
you need money to sue also,
yeah, that's
Mr.
true.
Fantastic, right? So no, I had no money. So anyway, finally, because of my old boss, I find this job and I started working again. I had two kids, right? A girl and a boy I have, right? So these two kids, it was my responsibility to take care of them, right? So of course, I worked for 19 years. I took care of my children, educated them very well. They're both settled very well in their lives. And that's why now I'm spending all the time to do something like what you're doing, is to take care of these young adults who need our help so badly, to help them to be situated in their lives.
So this is a great life story that people can learn from. Obviously, you're a very trusting person, as I am. I get burned many times. I'm so trusting. My wife would say, "Why do you keep trusting people?" And I always say, "Because one day I'm going to meet someone worth trusting."
Yeah.
But it's tough. You still need to trust, even though you got burned. I'm sure you're still a trusting person.
I still get burned sometimes once in a while, even now, like it's
Yeah.
crazy. The world is
So
not as you think it
let's
is.
wrap this up with the moral of the story.
Yeah. So what happens, like I have learned a lot of things, which is most of the people in my situation, a story of an abused woman. I have the best story I can tell,
Yeah, that's a great
A
one.
lot of times I think I should be on the TED Talk thing, to tell this story.
You can.
Uh, you
It's all
know,
what you want to do with your
yeah,
time.
I want to do that. Yes, absolutely want to do that
Yes, you
because
should. It's a great story.
I have many stories to share, which most of the people, when they have this story like an abused woman kind of a story, they give up in their lives. Okay, they think that, oh, that's the end of the
Well, it's
story.
easier to fail than to
Yeah, they
succeed.
they want people to feel sorry for them, right?
Exactly.
And I don't think that feeling sorry is an answer to any question at all. You have to have the bold decision that you make that time. You have two things that you can do. You can either fall off the cliff. End of my story. I don't want to know anything. I don't want to do anything. If I end my life, end of the story, right? People think that way, and
I
that is
know.
not that is not valuing yourself.
I can agree completely with you.
And just like you said, be kind to yourself, and that's exactly what I did. I was kind to myself. I valued myself. I said, hey, I'm a valuable person that can create so much for the world around me. If I'm gone, that's not going to happen. And so I need to be alive. I need to be there for the people to help them to prosper in their lives. And who could be the best guide to these young adults than the person like me who has experienced life totally in all different ways. I've taken care of my kids well, the way they should have been. I didn't fall apart and say, oh my God, now my kids are in the streets. No, they cannot be in the streets. I was educated, and I always thank my parents for doing that,
The
because that
education
education
is
has
what
value.
really put you above the crowd is the education. But most people, it's easier to fail than
Yes.
succeed because you can blame it on your
Yeah.
parenting, your environment, your color, your skin, your age, everything. Everybody blames everybody and everything
Yes. They
except
want people to feel
themselves.
sorry for themselves.
Exactly.
They don't think that, okay, this has happened to me, but I need to change lives of many other abused women around there who need you at that time, right? They need you. I haven't shared my story with anybody. And now I'm sharing with you, but just a few people here and there. But technically, I've never gone on a talk show or shared my story at all, where you could really improve the
Well,
lives of so
I would
many.
like to see this interview go viral because so many people can learn from your mistakes.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, and just to know that, just because you lose money, money is not doesn't bring
I told you
happiness.
I lost everything, right? Zero. I had
I know, I
not even
know.
a dollar in my pocket. Okay. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know how to do it. Like, when people tell you that you go to the grocery store, they allow you to borrow $10 or $20, you can, something like that, right? They allow you to cash in $20. I had to even do that because I didn't have money to buy food for my kids at that point. So when people tell you these stories, I've been there, done that. Electricity has been shut down, this has happened, that has happened, everything has happened to me. Okay. But there are people out there who tell you those stories too, but they want people to feel sorry for their stories. And I'm not one of those. I grew up from there. I got up. You get up and get up taller than you were before, you know,
Right.
which is what they don't do. You know what I'm saying? Education is there. You have everything. You have a mindset that is better than what majority of the people have. Okay. Don't waste it. My father educated me for a reason. He believed in me. right? My parents believed in me, and so I need to stand up for myself. But I told you the story about when my brother said, "You have 5 years, right?" And I didn't complete that story for you. What I mean is that he said, "You'll work for McDonald's or something like that." That's what he said. And I refused to do that, right? I told you. And so what happened is I used to go every morning, I told you, right, to find jobs. And that one day I got so frustrated that Rita, her name was Rita, who I used to stay with, my brother's best friend's wife, and she tells me, "Vasu, you're running out of money, and maybe we should work for KFC in the evening, and morning you can go look for jobs. At least you'll have some money with you." And that was the most disastrous day for me, because in my mind I swore to myself, I'm never going to work for a fast food place. I'm not going to do that. And I cried that day. But I went that morning to look for a job. And in the evening, I was supposed to join KFC for that job. Guess what? I get my job that morning. It was the happiest day of my life, I'm telling you. First thing I do is I make a phone call to Rita. "Rita, I found my job. I'm sorry. Could you please tell your manager that you know that I will not be joining them? I'll really appreciate that." Because I was going to come home. It would be late in the evening to let them know. So I called her and said, and I got my job. So whatever I believed in. So when my brother came to see me after 5 years, believe me, I was making more money than he was, because I was the finance controller of the company that time. Okay.
Right.
Made enough money and so it's what you think about yourself.
Of course. That's why commitment number one is to love yourself.
Love yourself.
Believe in
And
yourself.
that's why I liked what you're introducing is you have to love yourself.
I made it real simple, Vasu.
Yeah.
Real simple, because humans are the stupidest creatures on the planet. I mean, you've been unfortunate to be associated with the stupidest guy.
Yes.
I mean,
Yes.
what bad luck you had.
Yeah. Twice in a row, right? Twice.
Twice.
All my money away that I worked so hard to put together, think about that, So I tell people, don't judge people by just the cover, find out more about them before you engage into a relationship of that kind.
I think the word is trust, then verify.
Yeah. Yep. Don't look at just that
You gotta
he's handsome or
you gotta
beautiful.
stop not trusting. If everyone stops not trusting, it's going to be an even worse situation than we're in
And
now.
you know one more thing that people will always ask you. They've asked me these questions. "Oh, you're so gorgeous and so beautiful. How come you haven't found somebody yet?" They ask you that too. Now, I don't know what the answer to the question is, but I'm not looking for those guys that are just available here. I'm
Right.
looking for that special person.
Of course.
If he does come into my life, I will know.
Well, my sister found her soulmate at 72.
Yeah, that's what I'm telling you. You see, when we get to that age level, right? Every day you're going to grow every single day, and you're going to be older each day. But I'm not going to go find somebody like that, like I found before. One, of course, was arranged by my dad. The second I found, because I thought, oh, in the US, everybody's falling in love and finding a guy, and I did the same thing, right?
Well, what was the second husband's career again? Remind me.
Nothing actually before I met him. I made him
Okay. Oh, that's right. You
I
taught
taught
him.
him.
Oh, I
Yeah,
got you.
I gave him a green card, just so you know.
Gotcha.
I got him his legal
He
status.
was Indian?
Yes. He
Oh.
was from a different area. Like I'm from Mumbai, for example. He was from Calcutta, that area.
Oh, I
for-
see.
on the northeast side, right? So I didn't speak his language either. So I'm just telling you that I spoke English with him because that's the only language I knew. Or he did. I know many languages. I know many Indian languages. Okay, but he didn't, so.
Well, Vasu, you're beautiful outside and you're more beautiful inside.
That's what I'm saying. We want people who are beautiful inside.
Inside is what counts.
The outer beauty we can find, right? So just looking at people.
And outer beauty fades. I used to be good looking.
Yeah, I know. Those are temporary things that we have, right?
How do you know I was good looking before?
So that's why I liked what you're doing, is because I'm the same,
Well, we're gonna change the world together, because it takes a team. There's no I in team. And what you're doing, the Step Up, is wonderful.
But something that, like, people always tell me things, even the Step2StepUp organization, like, money is always a crunch for me, because what I lost everything, right? Obviously I have nothing left there. I help my children to be educated. They're both very well educated and well settled, and they're managing themselves. I'm very happy about that. They're both, my son is a executive chef in Las Vegas, just so you know. So that's why once in a while you see me coming to Vegas. He worked for Cosmopolitan for 13 years. There's not a top chef that he hasn't worked for, from Jose Andreas to
Well,
Gordon
I have a
Ramsay.
cooking show for him that
Oh,
if you
you
introduce
should.
me to him, he will love it.
Okay, awesome. So he's well settled there, you know. He works for Sands Corporation, but he works for the actual corporate 50X Corporation, which has lots of restaurants all over the world, you know. He does something here for corporate. When I say corporate,
Oh,
means all the casinos, the casino owners that are there. All these casino owners, they don't want to go in public places, you know, to have their dinners and
right,
lunches.
right.
And so this his boss started something that way, where they could go to a private place and have their dinner, and
Sure.
dinner, lunch is always ready for them. Whatever they ask, it's made for them. And and all the executive companies that are there, it's for that's the very first day when my son started the job, he saw these people coming with bodyguards, you know, with guns and all that. And he said, "What?" So, and they have a security check also, just like we have at the airport, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
They come inside, they're all checked out, you know. So he said, each of these people that come to
Well,
eat,
it's dangerous. It's dangerous to be rich and or famous. I tell people don't wish for fame or fortune. It comes with a lot of burdens. But
yep,
we got to introduce your son to the kindness revolution.
sure, sure, absolutely, you know. So I'm very blessed with two children, both of them, but my daughter and my son as well. And that's your blessing in disguise, you know, right?
Yes. Yeah.
So, so
Well,
I'm
you
just,
are a fantastic person. I'm so
thank
happy to meet you.
same
And
here.
we've got a whole life in front of us to help humanity. I call the
Yeah.
situation the insanity of humanity. And you know, you've experienced it by two insane guys. I mean,
See, that was in my spirits all along. Like I told you, even my ex, right, the second ex, so much money went. I told you $250,000 went in the 21 years that I was married to him. So I did my part. I've been helping his family.
yeah,
I guess it's not enough, and they want the whole thing.
never bite the hand that feeds you. If people just followed that rule,
Yeah.
the world would be a better place.
But then he lost all his money that he took too.
Oh, he
Okay.
lost all the money.
Of course he's going to, because people are there. Suddenly the money comes into your bank,
So
and
you're still in contact with this guy?
no, I don't. I purposely don't, because I don't want to know anything about him. But I
Yeah.
know what he's doing nothing. What I mean is, like, financially, he cannot be sound, because when you do something stupid, then that stupidity is going to follow you
Sure, sure.
everywhere.
It's like lying.
Yeah.
I can't, I won't deal with a liar.
No.
I can't have a liar in my life.
Like he made friend requests on the Facebook many times. I declined every one of them. I don't want to be a friend, you know.
No, no.
I don't want you to know what I'm doing. Simple as
Yeah,
that.
you burn me once, take the money and run. I don't need any part of your life, you know.
So in spite of losing all of it, you know, I'm still here today doing my good things in life, right? So
Wonderful. Thank you
and
so much.
and with a smile. So it's not like I'm
Yes,
frustrated with anything, right?
you are truly fantastic.
Thank you. Yes, I am fantastic.
And the word
I want
fantastic
people around me to
makes
be
you
fantastic.
smile.
I want the earth, Mother Earth, to be fantastic, just like you say. I believe in that totally. Like I wanted to be honest with you, what I wanted to do was I wanted to build a temple, you know. Somebody has given me the land and everything, not because a religious thing, nothing of that sort. I wanted our kids here to learn the Vedic mathematics. I wanted to teach them that. Those are the things I wanted to teach: meditation, anything that changes people's lives. You know, it's not about religion at all for me. It's more about, if I can teach you something, mathematics in
Well,
the, you know,
put this in your head. You probably haven't been to Dr. Fantastic's world yet, where I've conceived of some really amazing futuristic projects for humanity. Everything I do has to benefit everyone. So
correct.
they're called fire retreats. Fantastic inspirational rejuvenation experience, where you come in and you get a whole new perspective on life. You're in
Yeah,
an idyllic environment near a lake or always near water. You're talking and meeting people that are like you, that
yeah,
they can talk about abused relationships. They can talk about how to succeed in life, how to look at life, how to be kind from me. So that's my dream, is to start these retreats.
yeah.
And of course, great food comes with a great retreat.
Correct. Yeah. Mhm.
So
So
keep that in mind.
there's so much we all can do, you know, in life, right?
A lot we can do a lot. You
And
just have
that's
to
why, you know,
first.
the Step to Step Up organization that I started also, I couldn't really go to the step forward, because I noticed that every time I needed financial backing, which I didn't have, because I lost everything that I had. If I had all that, I could have helped so many children today, right?
Sure, yeah.
But think about that, you know, I lost it all.
Yeah.
And then I had to
Yeah.
focus on my kids, my 2 children, to
But
make
there's
sure.
so much money out there. It's all who you know.
Yeah,
And we're building a community now that will attract better people,
yeah,
maybe wealthier people. We've got
yeah,
some
yeah,
billionaires in the crowd. We've got
yeah.
kings and queens in our group. So
Hmm.
it's a grassroots effort to make the world a better place. It's growing with people like you. It's going to grow more, and
Yeah.
we're going to do some great things.
I have a very good project where people can fund that project. What I mean is that, when you see accidents and all happen, and you see so many people have lost lives in wars and all that, what's going on over the world, all over the world. And my friend has invented something very fantastic. Seriously, I'm telling you. He has invented a medication, which is Ayurvedic medication, means it's a home kind of medicine, right? And
Homeopathic medicine's the best.
yeah, so you pop 2 pills of those, which has no side effects of any kind because they're herbal, right? And you can stop your bleeding in 2 seconds. Okay, that's an invention.
That's like blood clotting, sounds like to me.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that way you can save lives of people,
Of
so many people
course.
around the world. So in the wars, we can use that. You can use all over the world. I'm talking about.
So you're
And
saying
we
the
wanted
many
people
times
who
I've
get,
cut myself, I take 2 pills and it stops bleeding.
yeah.
That's me. Let's talk to this guy.
So he is
When are you
such a
going to
good.
introduce me to him?
Forsan Records is proud to introduce the newest album from Valena, including the singles Cut Me to the Quick, and Remedy. Valena, Save Me From Myself, available now wherever you get your music.
What's the guy's name with the blood?
Dr. Goring.
Let's do that this week. Let's meet him.
Okay, we can do that.
Do a 3-way
Because
call.
this guy is a real guy who has
Yeah.
spent his whole life. He worked for Pfizer before.
Oh,
Okay, so he's not like he's from Colorado, just so you know. Okay,
love Colorado.
so yeah, so he's like, he has worked over here all his life. He's been here.
Vasu, it was really fantastic to meet you. I'm so
Same
happy to
here.
know you, and we're going to do some fantastic things together.
Absolutely.
The blood clotting guy, let's do it this week. This guy,
Okay.
if it really works, it's monumental.
I'm
It's
telling you
monumental.
that he not only that patent that he has 250 patents he has already.
Can't wait to meet
The one
him.
we're starting
Yeah.
with.
Gotta go. Have
Yeah.
a fantastic afternoon.
You too. You
Talk to
too.
you soon.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Well, it's that time of the show where we get into the kitchen, and I love getting into the kitchen. I actually was reviewing some old episodes of my 2,300 uh, videos on YouTube, and I came across a lamb curry that I made, and it's kind of apropos because it's like an Indian dish. Indians make great lamb curry, and they make great curry. So and I think it's lamb curry. I did it anyway. I grabbed that episode, and whatever the hell it is, I think you'll enjoy it. Get in the kitchen, get your kids in the kitchen, have fun in the kitchen. Don't take it too serious. And also, I want to remind everyone to bake kindness cookies. You take your favorite recipe of cookie. I bought a heart-shaped cutter. You cut it into heart shapes. When it's done, you write "Be kind" on it, and you can sell it for to make money for yourself. Some people need to make money. You can sell them for your school as a fundraiser, for your place of worship, for your whatever, or give them away. So have fun making cookies. But anyway, listen to the show. I think you're gonna enjoy it. It's a pretty good episode. I picked it out myself. So many cooking shows I've done. It's amazing. Anyway, see you after the cooking episode to close the show, and wish you a happy week. Welcome to another episode of Dr. Fantastic Cooks. If you've been following my cooking recipes on Befantastic.Today.com or on YouTube, you know that my recipes are easy, fast, inexpensive, and most importantly, delicious. Now, I've done a lot of episodes, so check them out at Befantastic.Today.com. They're categorized there. And there are some important things to cooking. One is to enjoy cooking. Cook with the family. Family that cooks together stays together. Bring your significant other into the kitchen and learn how to cook together, or show them how to cook. Bring the kids in and have them help. You don't want them handling sharp knives at early ages, but you certainly want them to mix it and enjoy it. And most importantly is eat your meals with your family without electronic devices. Now, this recipe is Belizean because I'm on the island of Ambergris Key in Belize. And so today I'm going to cook up a lamb curry, one of my favorite dishes, with coconut rice and beans rice, which is a staple here. They have a lot of stew chicken, pork chicken, beef stew, lots of stews, and they serve the rice, coconut rice and beans with most all of them. And they also serve coleslaw, so I'm also going to do a Belizean recipe with coleslaw. And as you know, a really important ingredient to cooking is to have it a cocktail while you're doing it, because if it doesn't come out well, at least you feel pretty good by the end of it. It's another hot day on the island, and I've got the fan blowing, so a little bit cool. Now, sharp knives are very important. They always need sharpening. And I see a lot of people cooking with their fingers out like this, and I think it's very, very dangerous. You always want to turn your fingers in when cooking. Now we're going to use a half a head of cabbage, a carrot, some cilantro, some onion, because I love onion and everything, mayonnaise, and some raisins, and that's the Belizean recipe. So basically, put your fingers in like this and slice it thin. Now what you're doing is you're using your knuckles as a backdrop. So you're slicing it like this, thin. And we'll pause, you don't want to watch me cutting all day. Okay, we have sliced the cabbage. First ingredient, cabbage. Put it in the bowl. Now, a lot of times you can grate the carrots, but I like the slivers of carrots. So I'm going to make a lot of slivers. Take the whole carrot and sliver it up so they're all little slices of carrot. And again, you don't want to watch me do this for half an hour. But you know, cooking is a lot of fun. You can't take it serious. You got to have fun when you cook. It's really important to have fun. And treat your food with kindness and love. Because, it might take hours to cook a meal and 5 minutes to eat it, but you got to enjoy every step of the way. Cooking is not hard. And, you can take a recipe and alter it. The curry asks for garlic. If you don't like garlic, don't put garlic in it. It's still going to taste delicious. If you like onions, like I do, put a lot of onions in it. I like onions. I think they're very healthy. And by the way, when I cook my stews, I'm here peeling, but when I cook my stews, I typically don't take the skin off, because I believe that the skin has a lot of the nutrients. And I notice here that the potatoes in the dishes are not peeled either, and that's good. I actually had at Delicia's Deli yesterday, that's what inspired me, a fantastic lamb curry, and so I thought I would do it myself. Now that was $10 Belize, $12 Belize, which is $6 American, and which is very inexpensive to have a great meal with the coleslaw, the beans and rice. But for you, I went out and bought $30 worth of groceries so I could cook this meal for you. If you die with money in the bank, you're a loser. I just don't believe. I believe if you have money, you should use it for good purposes, to have fun, because life is all about happiness. And after 74,000 meals in my life, I love eating. I love gourmet food. I love junk food. I love all foods. I've eaten some amazing things in my life. The other day, Kat cooked up chicken feet, my first time. I've had goat brain. I've had alligator, of course caviar, you can't go wrong with caviar, sea urchin, they say goat brain, lots of different things. Okay, so I sliced up the carrots and they go in there. Now, even though I peeled the carrot about a half hour ago, I noticed that some of the outside turned brown already from the air. Air destroys things. And so it's very important in cooking to have a good presentation. The plating isn't very important, but if someone sees a dirty carrot slice in their coleslaw, especially kids, they may not be very happy about it. So it's all about cooking is also timing. So I cook my salads first because you can put, I like them refrigerated, I like my salads cold, and of course when you're done cooking the rice and everything else, and that comes out together, the salad's all ready. So, you know, you never want to serve a steak and potato dinner, and the potato takes 20 minutes after you serve the steak. That's not good policy when cooking for friends or even for yourself. You want everything to come out at the same time. So now we've got the carrots, and the cabbage in there. We're going to put a pack of raisins. Raisins, very healthy, very delicious. This is all very healthy. Now there are two types of recipes in coleslaw. I like coleslaw. One is more of vinaigrette, and then one is this one here is mayonnaise. I didn't. Always forgetting something. So again, carrots. I mean, this is not a carrot. Again, fingers away. Take out the outer skin there. Like that. And again, like this. No cutting of fingers, no blood. Everybody's happy. Sharp knife is important. You actually can do this without looking. Real chefs do that all the time. And there we have the onions. Love onions. Can't go wrong with onions. Small onion. It goes into the salad. So we have, now, the recipe I was watching on the internet for this was hilarious. She said a tablespoon of sugar, and she literally went like this. I mean, it was at least a half a cup of sugar, so that was pretty funny. So I measured out a tablespoon of sugar, so we're going to put the sugar in there. Pepper, you gotta love pepper. There's the last of my pepper here. Bought a new one today. That's why it was so much money, because I do have some staples left over for another day. Pepper's good. I don't remember if she said salt, but you know, I don't know how you can cook anything without salt. So I'll put a sprinkling of salt in there. And then lastly, I believe it's the last thing to go in there, is 1, 2, I'm going to go with 3 tablespoons, heaping tablespoons. Oh, cilantro. I know I was forgetting something. I always forget something. Cilantro. Cilantro is delicious. Break off an end of it. You're twisting it like that. Again, hold it close like this with your fingers away. Fingertips away, of course. Put in as much as you like. Here's a couple tablespoons right there. Like that, into the pot. And we're going to have the delicious coleslaw. Next up will be the main dishes. Then just toss that together there with love. You know, you don't put it in the grinders. If you ever try my guacamole recipe, I promise you it will be the best guacamole you've ever ate. I promise you that. It's proven over many, many years. Many taste buds have tried it. It is fantastic. And it's the way I make it. Same ingredients you'll use in guacamole. And you can't go wrong with guacamole. And here's a shot of the coleslaw. Belize coleslaw. Okay, so now we're going to cook the lamb curry. You can do a lamb shank, you can do pieces. Today, unfortunately, or fortunately, I only have ground lamb, but that'll be fine. It'll be delicious. The first thing is heat the pan to a medium high. New stove here. I believe so you have to light it by hand. Medium high. Tablespoon of canola oil or some other type of oil. About a tablespoonful. Let it heat up. And we're going to put in curry, paprika, cumin, salt, habanero. Important thing about habanero is when you're touching it and cutting it is to wash your hands immediately afterwards, because if you touch your face or your eyes, you're going to be in a lot of trouble, because that stuff's powerful. And I've got garlic, all these things going in. Got some peas that's going to go in there. I've got a potatoes, and it's going to be a delicious dish. So you're heating the oil. The first thing is the onion. Again, fingers in. So what I like to do is chop it in two or three different directions, just like that. Pile it up there. Cooking's got to be fun, and of course, eating is even more fun. Love lamb curry. We had some Moroccan spice, but I went and bought curry just to do it. So, after you've got the onion sliced, goes there. Onion goes in there. You want to throw in the garlic and the ginger. A tablespoon of garlic and a tablespoon of ginger. About 2 minutes of sauteing that. Now, while that's sauteing, I'm going to take the ground lamb. Oh, by the way, let me show you the best way of chopping up a clove of garlic. You just push the knife on the end of it there and push down, and your thing comes off immediately. The skin comes off immediately. See how immediate that was? And all other ones came off a little quicker than that one did. And then, of course, again, knuckles in, dice it up. Sometimes you can put a whole clove in there. It'll cook down. Doesn't have to be totally diced up. And give it some stirs. It only takes about, to break the onion, a couple minutes. So now, you take the ground for the, typically you want to put the spices in and let it marinate for 30 minutes. So I'm going to put some salt. I'm going to put some cumin, a teaspoon of each. Paprika for some spice, another teaspoon of that. The habanero for some spice. And a tablespoon of curry, because it is a curry dish. And then you want to mix that in there. Again, you want it to marinate, but it'll be okay this way. I think I got some habanero in my eyes. Where, don't do as I do as I say, is the old saying. So, you've got to be careful with the garlic, because that cooks quicker than the onion. But knowing that it's going to cook 35 minutes, it's all good. So put the lamb in there. And saute it all. And after that's browned and sauteed, then we're going to put in the other ingredients. So, again, it's getting hot in the kitchen, so that's why it's important to have a cocktail. But have fun. That's the whole trick. There's nothing, I love cooking. Baking, it's a precise science. You really can't make mistakes with baking. You put too much of one or another ingredient in it, and you're in trouble. Here you can put more onions, it won't be a problem. More ginger, won't be a problem. We'll brown that all up, and then we'll come back for the next exciting step. Okay, the lamb is nice and brown and smelling delicious. Next step is a cup of tomato sauce, or ragu, or however you like, and a cup of water. I never like to waste any food. So, when you come down to an end of something in a jar, put some water in it, get all of it out. Hate wasting food. Too many starving people in the world to waste food. So now you've got the tomato sauce and you've got the water for the base. Stir that in there. Now, luckily I bought 2 potatoes because one was no good. So Murphy's Law, always have a backup. So we're going to put a potato in there. And this is going to cook about 30 minutes. It's going to be about 10 minutes. I'll start the rice, show you how to do that. Peas, can of peas. You know how to catch a fish with a can of peas? You put a pea in the water, and when a fish comes up to take a pea, you hit him with a stick. So that's how you catch fish, with a stick and a pea. It's an old joke. Anyway, so let's see. That's going to cook for 35 minutes on low heat. Low heat there. Cover it. Have a sip of beer. Relax for a minute, then go back and do the rice. This looks like a 2-beer recipe. There's a little shot of the lamb curry cooking away. Okay, now for the rice. This is the first time I'm cooking the staple that's on the island. Every dish comes with coconut, rice, and beans. I don't have all the exact ingredients, but I'll take you through the basics. First thing you do, heat your pot. This is coconut oil. So a tablespoon of coconut oil. Heat that up. Put in a yellow onion. I'm using red onion. It's not going to kill the dish. I love red onion. I prefer red onion, but it calls for yellow onion. So saute that. Again, it just takes 2 minutes to saute the onions, which is fine. Then you're going to use a cup of jasmine rice. I would put the water in first, but it's okay. It'll just take a second. A cup of coconut milk. Now, I don't know the difference between coconut milk and coconut water, but it seems to me coconut milk. Oops. And don't worry, you make a mess, hey, it's not the end of the world. If your kids are helping and they make a mess, don't yell at them. Console them. It's an accident. It's not the end of the world. You spill it, you wipe it up, it's all good. No big deal. Don't take life so serious. Don't take cooking so serious. Okay, so we got the milk, we got the water, the black beans. I'm going to use the water from the black beans for some more moisture, because that rice will soak up all that water. It calls for a habanero chili. I'm out of habanero chilies, so the next best thing is habanero pepper sauce. And of course, that's to taste. It says a tablespoon, I think, or a teaspoon. What does it say there? Habanero chili to taste. So I like it spicy, so put in about a tablespoon of habanero chili. You got the black beans, the jasmine rice, coconut milk, the water, a little bit of salt. Of course, you have salt. And some pepper. Now, in theory, this should all come out at the same time. With TV magic, we're going to see what happens. Scallions I didn't have. That's not the end of the world. Bay leaf. I do have a bay leaf. Where's my bay leaves? Bay leaves. I do have a bay leaf someplace. Actually, I threw a bay leaf into the other dish as well. And so, let's see how it comes out. I hope you enjoyed this. Let me think. I think I know. Anyway, cooking is fun. Have fun with the family. And don't take it too serious, you know. Well, I'll talk to you in a bit. And this is the rice. Maybe a little bit too much onion, but I like a lot of onion. Okay, so there's the finished dish and the plating. Now, in full disclosure, I had to put in another half of, or 3/4 of a cup of water, but the rice came out really, really perfect. And the curry, I had to put in another a tablespoon of curry. But I like the fact that it's minced, not cubed. You don't need a fork. And this coleslaw is delicious. Well, I hope you enjoyed the show. It was a long interview, but very interesting. I hope you learned a lot from it. And I hope you had a pleasant show. That's all I'm going to say. And I hope you have a happy week coming up. I can't believe it's the middle of August. Time just flies by. So it's very important to enjoy that little time we have on the what do they call it? The pale blue dot. I call it the rock. You know, there was a show called The Third Rock from the Sun, hilarious comedy with John Lithgow. Watch comedies. I introduced some comedies to one of our lady friends. People aren't watching enough comedies. Man, you want to be happy? Watch comedies. Don't watch all these crime dramas and the news. Watch comedies. The laughter is the best medicine. It reduces stress, anxiety, and depression. Smiling does the same thing. And when you say the word fantastic, it does both. So have a fantastic week. Whatever you're doing that's making you happy, keep doing it. Please enjoy these shows. Watch past episodes. A lot of fantastic people. Every one of them with a fantastic story. Maybe not Sinar from India, but he was a great. I had to X-rate that show. I mean, here's this guy that was, always had great conversations with him. And then I got him on camera to interview him, and it's F-bomb after F-bomb after F-bomb, ranting and raving about the society and the world. And I'm going, where did this come from? But I didn't edit it. I just called it an X-rated episode. So there's lots of interesting interviews on this series. And thanks for watching. Have a fantastic week.
I met Dr. Fantastic along life's way, and I heard him say, you gotta say, I am fantastic, la la la, I am fantastic. You can feel it if you say it. It ain't a game, you gotta learn how to play it. Fantastic, fantastic. Just listen to the doctor. He's a rocker. He walks around all day. He ain't plastic. He's not sarcastic. He says, I am fantastic.